Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As-salatu was-salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Again, we apologize for the late start. For those online, we're gonna make sure the audio is better for tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. This, as we know, inshallah ta'ala, this first session of our program, our summer with Surah Al-Baqarah, we are going to be studying the Arabic language. And we're going to try to relate it to Surah Al-Baqarah. We're going to study the Arabic language and relate it to Surah Al-Baqarah. And before we get into the actual studies or the actual handout that we have, we're going to provide that inshallah ta'ala soon for everyone, and maybe have some printed also. There are some introductory points that we need to go through inshallah ta'ala that is important. That is important for us to take into consideration when studying the Arabic language, and also take it into consideration when studying this course specifically, or doing this course specifically. First, this course, it's like a crash course. We have this course, the Arabic part of it is going to be approximately 7 weeks. The tafsir is going to go so long as it's needed, inshallah ta'ala. In 7 weeks, there is only so much you can do. We won't be able to complete everything, and it's going to be a little bit congested, compact, in order to cover as much as possible. Also, with regards to this program, we are not going to be going gradually based on from like beginner level, then intermediate or advanced or anything like that. Or even like taking the curriculum of a regular book where they start from very basic information and then go gradually, they go up step by step. Because we are relating it to Surah Al-Baqarah, we're going to kind of be all over the place. But we're going to try to break it down to the best of our ability, inshallah ta'ala, so everyone can relate. Those who are in the beginner level, those who are in the intermediate level, and even if there's someone in the advanced, they can benefit or relate something with regards to the Arabic language, inshallah ta'ala. As we know that the Arabic language is not merely about communication. And most of us, when we study the Arabic language, we focus on communication, meaning speaking to others. But this language is the language of the Quran, and that is what we want to focus on when we're studying the Arabic language in general and studying it here. We are learning it to relate to the Quran and the Sunnah first and foremost. Don't gauge your progress based on how much you can speak, but based on how much you can relate to the Quran and the Sunnah. Meaning, the more you can listen to the Quran and get an idea of what you're listening to, that's going to be progress. If you're able to speak or you're not able to speak, there's a different thing. There's 3 levels of understanding with the Arabic language. You have listening comprehension, your ability to hear and comprehend what you're hearing. Reading comprehension, your ability to read and comprehend what you're reading. And then you have the speaking skills. The last one, that's the least of importance for us as students right now. Not that it's not important, but it's the least of importance. And you're going to gain that based on your practice and how much you speak and how much you force yourself to speak. but that's the least important. The most important is the first two that we mentioned. Number one, the listening comprehension. That's number one. Why? Because we're going to be listening more than we read. We're going to be listening to the Quran, listening to durus, and this ummah is a ummah ummiyah, right? An ummah ummiyah. What's ummiyah? Illiterate, right? An illiterate nation. We don't read and we don't write as a default. Our ahkam and so is not based on our ability to read and write. And the Quran was by a default what? Quran, from qara'a, recitation, and tilawa, right? From tala. So that is what we want to focus on. And that skill, you can master it without going anywhere. So don't put that obstacle. Those who are lazy and weak, they make excuse to not learn. Right? They say, everybody say, I want to learn, but I'm not in an Arabic country. That excuse there is because you're lazy. Right? Excuse, the number one person it harms is the person who makes it. So don't have that delusion that you need to be in the Arabic language, Arabic country to learn. If you want to learn, you're going to try to learn. So that's one. The number one focus is listening comprehension. Now, what's important to do in order for you to increase in your listening comprehension and the ability to listen and understand, you have to be listening. Even if you don't understand what you're listening to. And that brings us to the next point, is our focus in learning the Arabic language has to be like how a child learns a language. When is it the child gets exposed to hearing? When he understands what he is hearing? No, then he will never understand anything. He is being hearing before he even born, right? And then when he is born for a year, 2 year, year and a half, 3 year, 4 years, some people, they're being listening before they even start to speak. And before they even start to comprehend also. So you have to be listening. So the number one advice for everyone is make sure you have a playlist or a lecture that you're listening to. One single lecture or one single playlist. And just listen to it over and over. But you have to be listening, not hearing. Have some part of the day where you are listening. Half an hour, 50 minutes, an hour every day, and you're listening to it. And inshallah ta'ala, we're going to send out some suggestion inshallah ta'ala with regards to the playlist. And make sure that it's fusha. The person don't have to be 100% grammatic in their speaking, which is very few, right? But make sure that you're listening to fusha. So that's one. The second thing with regards to listening comprehension and the reading comprehension and learning the Arabic language in general, do not focus on grammar. We're going to be studying grammar. You need grammar, but don't focus on grammar. When is it we start to learn grammar in English? When we already know to speak fluently, properly in school. And then when we do learn the grammar, not too long after we graduate from school, we forget half of it. But does it affect us from understanding? No. Yes, we're not going to have a detailed understanding, a deep understanding, answer technical question, but we don't need it. We don't need it. With the tafsir of the Quran, do you need it? 100%. But do you need it to understand when someone is speaking? No, you don't need it to understand. What is it you need to understand when someone is speaking? What is it you need to know? Huh? In order to understand anything, what is it you need to know? The meaning of the words. The meaning of the words. I'm going to give you a demonstration. Right? How it's, let's say, for Arabic grammar, we know in Arabic the vowel at the end, Dhamma, Fatha, Kasr, change based on the grammatical position of the word. Right? Everyone knows what's a Dhamma, Fatha, and Kasra. What's the other word for it? Zabarpish and what? Huh? Zir? Right? So you learn in Arabic grammar, the doer has to take Dhamma. The doer of the sentence, the grammatical doer of the sentence takes Dhamma. The object takes Fatha. Right? Now that's knowing grammar. Now if you don't know the vocabs and the meaning of the vocabs, that there is not going to help you anything. That's one. Secondly, if you're reading a book and it has typo and you're only focused on the grammar to understand who is doer and who is object, you're also going to be thrown off. Give you an example. Let's say there is a sentence. Al-Asad akala at-tuffah. Al-Asad, let me rephrase it. Akala al-Asad at-tuffah. Right? Now imagine you don't know these words. And you see akala al-asada at-tuffahu. And someone was to ask you who is the doer. And you don't know the meaning of these words. What are you going to say? The tuffah is the doer. Because that's the one with the dhamma. Right? If it has a dhamma. But if you know the meaning of the words. Akala means he ate. Asad means lion. Tuffah means apple. Who ate who? You know who ate who. If the person say akala al-asad at-tuffahu, akala at-tuffahu, akala al-asadu at-tuffaha, akala at-tuffahu, al-asada at-tuffah, akala al-asad. Anywhere you put the word, you're going to know what they're trying to say. Right? Why? Because you know the meaning. So that's the number one thing in order to understand the language is you must know the meaning of the vocabulary. Now the Arabic language, because of the nature of the Arabic language, there is situations where things can be ambiguous. Like if you put the word akala al-asad and namir, for example. Namir, tiger, right? Even if the reality is not true, but let's say you got a tiger, you got the lion, and you get the word ate. Who ate who? Right? You need what? Context. Or you need to know what happened. Because if there's a typo, you're going to have the wrong impression. Because anyone could have eaten the other one. Right? So in certain situations, yes, it gets technical. Now the thing with the Quran has been preserved for us with the vowels. The Quran was preserved with the vowels. So you don't have to worry about typo, and you don't have to worry about having the wrong impression or anything with regards to the Quran. But you still, without doubt, you need to know the meaning of the words before you even know the grammar of the words. And that's something I wanted to emphasize because that's one of the number one mistakes most students make, and they don't make progress with it. Focus on the grammar and they don't focus on building their vocabulary. And to build your vocabulary, cram as much word as you want and as you can. Go through as much text as you can. Read, repeat. But have at least, I will say, 1 to 3 words, maximum 5, that you memorize properly for the day. And don't pass it. 1 to 5, let's say. I will recommend 3 in between, that you memorize properly for the day. Because when you cram and you go through a lot, you're going to remember and forget some of it. And depends how often you come across it, you're going to remember or forget it. But if you have 1 to 3 words that you memorize, you know that you're building your vocabulary gradually, and over time you're gonna see the effect of it, insha'Allah ta'ala. The next comprehension, as we said, is the reading comprehension, and that there you can develop it also unless you are reading. And for the first year or 2 years of your Arabic life, I will recommend do not read anything but books that are tashkil, fully voweled. Don't try to read without the vowel in the first 2 years or the first 3 years, right? Depending on how much progress you are making with the Arabic language. And doing one doesn't necessitate you're going to know the other. You can read a word and understand it, and if you hear it, it's as if you don't know the word. Your ears got to be accustomed to it. And you can hear a word and know it, and when you look at it, as if you don't know the word, unless you shout it out. And then you hear it, oh, I knew that word. So each one is its own skill. They're going to help you with one another, but it's not going to necessitate that you're going to develop. If you just listen, you're not going to develop your reading. And if you just read, you're not going to develop your listening comprehension. And these are, we're going to send this out, but just want to go through some points here, inshallah ta'ala. Now, as we mentioned, you have to be, with any language, you have to be building. Just going through books, going through works, without a system, you're not going to build anything. That's one. And second thing, you can't stick on the same thing for the rest of your life. You're not going to learn anything. So there's two extreme with regards to learning. And you ask anyone, I'm sure that some of you, or most of you, if not all of you, fall into one of these extremes in the beginning, because most students fall into it. One extreme are those who, they don't move from a book until they understand everything in it. You might not understand something in Medina Book 1 until you finish the entire course. Then you understand and it clicked to you what happened in Medina Book 1. And then there are those who just study, go through courses without any system, and they finish, oh, I completed all the Medina books, Imam Sa'ud book, and they don't know anything still. The middle course, you have to have a system. The system, and there's a system that I recommend. Each chapter, make sure you study it 5 to 10 times. Unless you understand 80%, 90% or 100 of it, you go to the next chapter. But still, at least review it about 5 times. Because it takes, something might not click until you go through it a few times. Right? If you understand everything in the chapter, move on to the next chapter. Then when it comes to conversations and passages, make sure you write all of the new words, extract it. Write all of the new words, cram it, and then you extract from those 3 or 5 words that you're going to memorize properly. And you keep reading the conversations at least 10 times. With understanding. After you went through the conversation, you understand it with the vocabs, keep reading it slowly, loud, at least 10 times. And then you move to the next lesson. Whether you get everything or you don't get everything, you move to the next lesson. But don't read it 10 times just to cover numbers. Read it with focus. If you read it 2 times and the 3rd time you're not finding focus, you only read it 2 times. Find another time, you read it some more. Then another time you read it some more until you reach like 10 times. Right? I'm just giving you my recommendation. 5 to 10 times. Once you get about 80%, 90% of the understanding, you understand, grasp most of the concepts, you went through it about 10 times. And you grasp, let's say you grasp 100% of the concepts, alhamdulillah. If you grasp only 70% of the concept, 80% of the concept, after going through it multiple times, don't burn your brains out over it. Go to the next chapter and do the same thing. And every now and again you can go back and review and complete the book just like that. And then if at the end of the book you don't get you haven't grasped most of the book, you go through back the book again. You grasp most of the book, move on to something else, where not necessarily a higher level, but something else where you might receive the same thing in a different way. Because sometimes expressions affects, right? You don't understand the expression, the way it might be expressed or explained in another book might be better. Or sometimes you find students, they say, I studied this thing for 10 years and now I understand it with you. It's not because that teacher did a better job than the 10 years you've been studying it. It's because you've been trying to grasp it, it finally clicked with you. If you hadn't been studying it for that 10 years, maybe that one teacher that you come to know, it wouldn't click with him. And the reason I'm mentioning this is don't think when you go through something properly and you don't grasp it 100% that you wasted your time. Because you're preparing yourself to get it later on, inshallah ta'ala. And that's important. Why? Because a lot of students, they burn themselves out and they give up. They don't get something, they give up. They're listening to lectures for a year, they're not understanding, they leave it. Once you leave it off, you're never going to get it. But once you keep ponging on it, inshallah ta'ala, one day you're going to get it. One day you're going to wake up speaking Arabic as if you were born with the language. Right? That's how it goes. But you have to be doing something. With regards to this book, as we mentioned, we're gonna try to be as literate as possible when with our translation in the book, and that is to get a sense of the Arabic language. And as we go through, inshallah ta'ala, we're gonna explain what is meant by that, inshallah ta'ala. Any questions before we move forward with regards to what was said? For the sisters, we have we can install a mic with a press the button and then they ask the question and then we press the button again and take off the mic. It's going to be clear for you to see that it's connected, so we're not going to be spying on anybody. Or if they like to type, they type the question out in the Arabic group we're going to send out for the Arabic class. We have a group, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to make it the link available, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so moving forward, as we mentioned that because of the nature of this course, information it's not going to be gradual, step by step, and you're going to find within the text, especially with the Quran, basic concepts are mixed with advanced concepts, right? We can't rearrange the Quran. Quran is complete as it is. Now, we're not going to focus on everything from every portion that we do. And don't try to focus on everything. We're going to explain certain concepts from the text that we have. Whatever you don't understand, just learn it as it is. And learn the meaning as it is. And don't try to give a reason for everything. That's something when you learn language you tend to do. You try to give a reason for everything or find a reason for everything, and if you don't have a reason for it, you close off your understanding. But that is not necessary. Just learn it as it is. I'll give you an example. We say he, she, he is or he are. Which one? He is. Why we say he is and not he are? Because it's singular. But you say you are and you don't say you is when speaking to one person. Why? Who can give me a reason why? Put your hand up. When you're speaking to one second person, you say you are. You don't say you is. Now put your shoe in someone who's learning English, brand new. That's going to confuse them. Why are you telling me you are? Now to remember, you are. He is. She is. We are. For a new person, all those things confuse their head. Because you know English, it's natural. Now if that person is only trying to look, why is it you got to say you are, not you is, it doesn't make any sense. What's they're going to spend a lot of their time wasting trying to understand something that 99.999% of the English world don't understand and living with it. So don't try to understand everything. If you understand why, alhamdulillah. You don't understand why, just learn it as it is. This is how it is. Why you say I am? Where am come from? Huh? You see how many basic English thing, if we start to think about it, we waste our time, confuse our brain, and we deprive ourselves from learning. Now is there a reason why you say you are and not you is? There's a reason. Right? Why did the king say we and not I? The royal we. So out of respect for the second person you're speaking to, right? It's kind of like that. But that is out of the question. Clear? So don't burden yourself with understanding everything. Just learn it as it is. And like I said, think about a child learning. You learn, listen, repeat. This is how you say it. Before we get into the actual Quran, I have two lessons with just basic sentences for those who may be fresh or brand new with the Arabic language. So don't be too technical for the first two lessons or the first 2 days. And also, I will advise, if you are new in learning the Arabic language, have at the side of this either the Medina books or the Arabiya Bayna Yadayk. Just go through the conversations and understand the conversations, right? And if they are new students, first time learning the Arabic language, and they want to have exposure to some basic conversations and the meaning, we can create a group for that. We don't have time for another class for it, but we can create a group for it where we just go through the conversations. I will prefer the Arabiya Bayna Yadayk and the meaning of the conversations, just for you to get exposed to basic conversations and so on. Now someone, for the sisters upstairs, if Harun is there, she can add all of the sisters to the Arabic group after the class, inshallah. Make sure the sisters, they join the Arabic group. Those who are following online on the YouTube, you can ask your questions there. We won't create a group for online because, right, there's only so much you can do. But you can ask your questions on the YouTube if we have the ability to answer it, inshallah, and the time we answer it. And if not, inshallah, we answer it another time. Someone asked with regards to the repeating, those numbers that I give, they're guidelines. If you need to repeat something 1,000 times to remember it, that is what you gotta do. Another person need to do it 5 times to remember it, that's what he has to do. Right? So that number there is just a guideline. And don't think that your need to repeat something is a bad thing or a weakness. Sign of weakness. Why? Because the person who need to repeat something 2 or 5 times to get it and memorize it, most likely next month they ain't going to remember anything. But the one who need to repeat it 5 times before they understand it, or 10 times before they get it, or 100 times, by the time they finish and they get it, it's with them for the rest of their life. Right? So sometimes there is a catch in your strength and there is a catch in your weakness. Now the person who read it 5 times and they get it, what they need to do so they don't fall for the side effects of a strong short-term memory, what they need to do? Keep repeating it. And that is with Quran also. You need to keep repeating it and don't fall for that short-term memory side effect, if you want to say though. Lesson 1. We have the text here. Allahu khalaqa al-qawna wa khalaqa kulla shay'in. Allah created the universe and He created everything. Right? Khalaqa, created. Allah created. Qawn is universe. And He created kulla, every, shay, thing, everything. Kulla shay. Now applying the baby language method. You don't worry why Qaf has fatha, Allah has dhamma, lafzul jalala. When we say Allah, we say lafzul jalala out of respect. And kulla has fatha, shay'in has kasra. Don't worry about all of that until we do it. Now what you do, you want to say Allah created the universe, say Allahu khalaqal qawna. Just repeat it. You want to say everything? Kulla shay. Created everything, khalaqa kulla shay. And then you can play around. Allah created the earth. Allahu khalaqal arda. Right? Remove and replace. Without understanding any grammar. Allah created the moon. Allahu khalaqal qamara. Allah created the tree. Allahu khalaqa shajarata. Just replace, remove and replace. Ash-shajarata. Allahu ahad. Allah is ahad. Ahad, unique. Right? One and only in His names and attributes. And as we mentioned again, we learn in Arabic to do what? Relate with Quran and the Sunnah. La nidda lahu. There is no equal belonging to Him. Meaning He has no equal. La nidda lahu. He has no equal. This phrase here, we're gonna go through it in detail later on in the book, but just as an exposure. La nidda lahu. Why fatha alone and so? Don't worry about all of that now, later on. Huwa raziq. He is the creator. Huwa raziq. He is the creator. Huwa al-ghani. He is the provider. Huwa raziq. He is the provider. Huwa al-ghani. He is the rich. And then you can remove and replace. Right? He is the knowledgeable. Huwa al-alim. He is the strong. Huwa al-qawi. Right? He is the merciful. Huwa ar-Rahman. Huwa ar-Rahim. Huwa malikus samawati wal ard. Huwa malikus samawati wal ard. He is the owner of the heavens and the earth. Huwa al-alim. He is the knowledgeable. The one with the names and the attributes of Allah obviously is with its complete and perfect meaning. Ya'lamu ma fis samawati wal ard. He knows what is in the heavens and the earth. Wa huwa, and He, ya'lamu, He knows, a'malana, our actions or our deeds. Ya'lamu ma fis samawati wal ard. He knows what is in the heavens and the earth. That which is in the heavens and the earth. Now if you want to say He knows what is in the universe, we had the word universe came before. Ya'lamu ma fil qawn. Ya'lamu ma fil qawn. He knows what is in the universe. Now you want to say Muhammad knows what is in the car. Just replace Muhammad ya'lamu ma fi as-sayyara. What is in the bag? Ma fi al-haqiba. Just take out and replace. Now it's important, and you might hear me saying this throughout the course, you have to read loud and learn loud and memorize loud. Don't do it silently. And like that, you're going to program your brain, right? And don't underestimate, your brain is a machine. It's going to figure out things for you. You might later on in life, once you follow the steps of learning the Arabic, and one of it is reading loud, books that are fully tashkil, and all of the vowels, beginning, the middle, the end vowel. Make sure the book is properly tashkil. Read all of the vowels. Your brain is going to do the work for you. And you're going to find yourself, when you speak, you don't have to think much about grammar. It's on your tongue. Your brain is processing it for you. But you must read loud. Where are we? Allahu waliyul mu'minin. Allah is the wali of the believers. The word wali, famous word, right? The guardian, the ally, the protector of the believers. Huwa yansuruhum. He aids them. Huwa yansuruhum. He aids them or grant them a victory, right? Nasr can go back to aiding, helping, and granting victory. Huwa yansuruhum. He aids them or grants them victory. Wa huwa al-aziz. And he is al-aziz. Right? The mighty, the majestic, the strong. It goes back to multiple meaning. Anzala ala rasulihi Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wasallam al-kitab. Anzala means he sent down. Ala rasulihi Muhammad, upon his it has servant here, this is upon his messenger, right? Not servant. Upon his messenger Muhammad, the book. He sent down upon his messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam the book. هذا الكتاب هو القرآن. This book is the Quran. هذا الكتاب هو القرآن. This book is the Quran. Now if I want to say, so we have هذا الكتاب هو القرآن. This book is the Quran. You want to say this boy, or let's say this man. What's man in Arabic? Rajul. This man, how are we going to say this man? هذا رجل is the teacher. هو المدرس. هذا الرجل هو المدرس. Right? You just learn the pattern. Now another thing to be conscious of, so that you don't confuse yourself, there might be multiple ways to express the same thing in Arabic, or close to the same meaning in Arabic. So if you learn one way and then you come across another way, don't confuse yourself. It's multiple ways to express the same thing. Okay, we have one more minute. We're going to end. Inshallah, we have some basic concepts in the first lesson. And this, as I mentioned to you, this for those who might be brand new with the Arabic language. The definite article, al. Al is used in the Arabic language to represent the English word the, right? From the most famous meaning for al and regular meaning. When al is added to a word with tanween, the word loses its tanween and remain with a single vowel. Now note, when al is added to a word with tanween, if it doesn't have a tanween, there's nothing to lose, right? But words with tanween, like the word kitabun, means a book. You add al, it becomes the book. You say al-kitabu. You don't say al-kitabun. Al-kitabu. Malakun, an angel. Al-malaku, the angel. Rasulun, a messenger. Ar-rasulu, the messenger. You don't say ar-rasulun, or al-malakun, and al-kitabun. So that's, you have one extra tip there when you memorize the Quran and you mixing up certain words at the ending, right? Adding al with tanween. I'm sure sometimes you do it and your teacher say you don't put al with tanween, right? A lot of students, when they memorize the Quran, very simple thing you get mixed up with. Just knowing this, you save yourself from that memory game where you have to play. ذَلِكَ كِتَابٌ, that is a book. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ, that is the book. ذَلِكَ كِتَابٌ, that is a book. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ, that is the book. هَذَا نَذِيرٌ, this is a warner. هَذَا النَّذِيرُ, this is the warner. Right? We have some typo there, right? This, both supposed to be this, not that. Make sure you correct that if you're taking notes. Ja'a rajulun, a man came. Ja'a rajulu, the man came. Ra'aytu waladan, I saw a child. Ra'aytul walada, I saw the child. Sallaytu fi masjidin, I prayed in a masjid. Sallaytu fil masjidi, I prayed in the masjid. Arsalallahu rasulan ila Ad, Allah sent a messenger to Ad. Arsalallahu rasula Hudan ila Ad, Allah sent the messenger Hud to Ad. We're gonna pause here inshallah ta'ala and continue from page 4 tomorrow. We're gonna provide the PDF, and also the PDF gonna be in two parts, part 1, part 2. And we're going to have some printed inshallah ta'ala for the students, those who need a copy. We're going to have that available tomorrow. Those who have the ability to print yourself, you can print yourself. How many here might need a copy tomorrow who don't have a printer? Who need a copy? It's notes that we think. We're going to send it out, the PDF. And the sisters, they can let Harun know, inshallah ta'ala, how many copies we need, and we're going to have them tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. So we pause here and continue tomorrow, and inshallah ta'ala, again, we apologize for the delay in the beginning, and try to be here for Asr, so we can start right after, inshallah ta'ala, as the time is very short. Last year, we did this same book with the grammar concept. For those who was with us, we were doing what, 1.5 hours to 2 hours, right? And we take about 5 weeks. So we have approximately 45 minutes to an hour, and we have more to do, right? Not less, it's more. So make sure that you are early, inshallah ta'ala, and we're gonna start. And today, that's on me for our technical difficulty. Barakallahu feekum. We're going to start with the tafsir, inshallah ta'ala. Subhanakallahum bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.